They can't see him. It's hard to believe, but they really can't see him. The woman with her eternal magazines, the man with his eternal can of beer, the television blaring unendingly, and evening like any other. What unimaginative creature they are. I suppose they think I'm unimaginative too. They don't give me credit for having a whole lot of sense, it would seem. It's a pity. I could teach them a great deal. But look at them, how satisfied they are with their comically circumscribed little world, their narrow sensibilities. How complacent they seem. I wonder what they would think of the dark brother if they could see him. Now the man belches and rubs his belly and smacks his lip. The television swells to a higher din. The woman widens her eyes and giggles. Dark brother undulates in a pale gossamer swirls at their feet, waiting. Another night like any other, they come home from wherever it is they go all day. While they were out of the house, he was quiet as usual. I scarcely saw him out at all. He takes presents for granted, and I understand that. Mostly he likes to come out and sniff around when they come home. He's curious about them, sizing them up. Tonight, as always, he'll wait until they settle down in the living room. For now they cook their dinner, and the woman sets down a bowl of milk and some food that they imagine I like. Here, kitty kitty, indeed. Nice kitty. Pretty little puss, isn't she sweet? Come have den den. God knows what simpletons. They plunk themselves down for the evening, television pulling away, the beer can solid in the hand as if it grew there, the woman's magazines rustling. The woman chatters from time to time, the man grunts and looks at the screen, and wipes his mouth on his sleeve. And out comes dark brother. I always love seeing him come out, so silent, so graceful. From the baseboard, he slides slowly out like a long translucent ribbon of pallid smoke. Up from the tiny spaces between the floorboard he emerges, many parallel sheets of gray wisp, all nodding and swirling together, joining into a single mist hanging in the air near the floor. He flows around me, stroking my fur, and it feels so good I can't help but purring. The way he eddies and slides around the floor and the coffee table, the edges of the sofa, the woman's feet, the man's feet, flowing so smooth and silky and silent. This musty old house has bred him, nurtured him, and grown him. They probably fancy that they own the house, and what a delectable piece of irony that is. Dark brother was here long, long before they came. Before I came, he told me so. How odd it is that their senses can be so narrow. They really don't see him, and it would probably never occur to them that they live in an old house, and that old houses can breed things, can spawn higher forms of life, as every cat knows. What crude organisms they are, these sofa sitters. Dark brother shapes parts of himself into long probing fingers of gray-blue haze, and insulates himself, snake-like between them on the sofa, bobbing about the man's face for a closer look, touching the woman's hair tentatively. They watch the babbling bright screen, unaware. Another evening, they notice that I see something that they don't. Dark brother has been spectacular coming out tonight, shimmering and waving, with a vigor and a sheer beauty that has made me sit up and admire. The woman points at me and says something to the man, and they watch me with that confused look that I suppose passes for curiosity with them. Then they go back to watching the television. I have to remember not to be so obvious about it. Dark brother oozes about them where they sit, probing, looking, and sensing. They still don't see him, but I do, and he's growing stronger. Now, when the people are gone during the day, he comes out and plays with me. He slithers through the hall, the kitchen, and the bedroom, under the bed, pursuing me with smoky tendrils of gray substance, flipping me over on my back on the living room floor, where I kick and meow while he tickles my tummy. He's darker now, bigger and stronger. He's drawing strength from the house, from the man, and from the woman, and in a special way, from me. Rearing up in an undaunting hood of haze, he pounces upon me anew, and we dart off down the hall, tumbling and frolicking. What a time we have! Tonight they're beginning to notice Dark Brother, the man and the woman, actually beginning to sense that there is something in the house watching them. They look tired, drawn, sitting there on the sofa. Dark Brother runs a spidery play of gravy, frog fingers up to the man, brushing him, feeling at his face, and the man frowns and rubs the back of his hand across his cheeks, looking puzzled. The woman eyes him and says something. He shakes his head, looking around and shrugging. Dark Brother, still formed into a wriggling cluster of fingers on a snowy arm pitched up out of the general haze of the floor, withdraws a little and watches with many, many eyes. I can feel his malign humor, see him gently throbbing with it. They still can't see him, but they are sensing something finally. He retracts the smoky arm and swirls thickly about their feet. The man is wearing shoes and doesn't seem to notice anything. But with a sharp little yell, the woman draws her bare feet up under the couch and says something rapid and petulant sounding to the man, waving her arms. He gets up and looks under the couch, shaking his head all the while. Dark Brother flows gently around him, leaving him little clearance. They go back to watching the gabbling bright screen, but look preoccupied. Every now and then the man pulls his hand to his face. Today, the man and the woman out, the Dark Brother wax bolder, racing in a misery, out thrown tentacles through the house. He scatters papers off the coffee table and overturns the candle holder on a shelf, and whirls a little mess of tissue paper up out of the wastebasket onto the kitchen floor. We play together from room to room, delighted in our rapport, our timeless affinity, the things we understand together, the things he makes me remember. The man and the woman have come home and noticed the mess Dark Brother has made. Bad kitty, frowns the finger shanking. Bad kitty. I don't mind. Later now, they have settled down on the sofa with the television blabbling away, and they look even more tired and a little apprehensive. Dark Brother slithers back out, darker, more insolent looking now, and swirls about the floor, caressing me, covering the whole room, but not touching the feet at the base of the sofa. Suddenly he forms an appendage up out of the ground haze and rushes at the woman, fidgeting at her face and her hair with misty fingers. She yelps and drops her magazine and brushes her face with her hands. The man sets his beer down with a clank and jumps up, looking comically helpless, searching. Incredibly, they still can't see him, even as much darker as he has grown. While the woman stands and the man disarranges the sofa cushions and looks behind the sofa itself, Dark Brother withdraws, quivering with something that is now more eager than humor. But he decides enough for the night. The next evening, I think the woman can see him now. Dark Brother slides up from behind the sofa and drags an arm of mist quickly across the man's face, and he drops up, yelling and spilling his beer. The woman screams, startled, wide-eyed. Dark Brother withdraws behind the couch and flows along the wall, back into the hallway, seeping back in at the baseboards. Just as he almost is back in, the woman points there, shouting. The man bounds into the hall, dropping to his knees and examining the area of the baseboards. Naturally, he finds nothing, but he and the woman talk late into the night with troubled faces. Dark Brother is avid now, I can tell. I can feel it. Tonight there will be no more mere toying with them. They sit on the sofa, talking quietly, the television off for once. A good deal of time passes and nothing happens, but the man and the woman seem more nervous as the evening wears on. Dark Brother suddenly appears, gushing up out of the ancient woodwork with a hungry determination, a multitude of throbbing sheets of purposefulness. I messed that up. Scented mist running together in the air. They see him now. By God, the woman shrieks, pressing herself back into the sofa. The man leaps to his feet, his eyes wide and rolling. At once, Dark Brother fastens up, dragging him to the floor, kicking and yelling. The woman, drooling with fear, powerful fear that I can smell, is up and sprinting for the hall, but Dark Brother, without leaving the man, shoots out a tendril to thicken upon her and take her down. Moaning in the hallway where, pulsating, he worries at her face until she is screaming. until the screaming stops. Now Dark Brother tells me he will take me into himself, let me become part of him, teach me to flow into the woodwork and nurture myself there and really live in the house. Our house. We'll be quiet if anyone comes in to see about the man and the woman. They won't find anything and they'll go away. Then sooner or later, of course, new people will come into the house and live, and that's where the fun will really begin.